Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as I've been saying recently, what is going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man, 1993, and for I am the man himself. Because in order to be superior to be the man, you've got to be the man. And I'm here live to give you my live review of this past week's episode of Monday Night Raw, the March 13th, 2023 edition. And it took place in a place that I remember some pretty good Raw moments happening. One in particular was when Daniel Bryan turned on Bray Wyatt. Oh, sad news is we're going to be talking about him a little bit in this video. Turning on him whenever he briefly joined the Wyatt family. That was still one of my favorite moments, I would say, in Raw when that happened 10 years ago. We're going to talk about this episode very briefly because I'm going to be honest, the man himself did not go into Raw this week with the most positive mindset about the product. I felt like I did when I was in Vegas when I heard the news about WWE buying Saudi Arabia. Which, of course, still may happen, but the rumors, in fact, did not turn out to be true. But there was a story that was talked about Monday that I will talk about after I talk about Raw. That, to me, just the way it was handled, the way like the rumors have floated, and I'll first be honest and say, I'm someone who is very easily convinced by the internet. I read rumors, I see rumors, and with the back and forthness at WrestleMania, with this story, it just again gives me fears that Vince McMahon is indeed back in control a little more than we thought. Now, of course, those fears have calmed down a little bit, because I did see some sources online saying something about something that I know Vince McMahon would not want to do. So, yeah, but again, it's still just... I just went into this episode seeing red. Everything, I looked at it, I watched it, and I'm just like, okay, did Vince get his hands on this? Like, some small little pieces of dialogue that was in there. Or something that, that the announcers reacted. Or even the fact that the show started with no intro video. Small stuff like that just made me paranoid. Based off, again, of a story that we'll talk about at the end of this review. So, I tried to look back at the results again after settling down. There was a lot of stuff on Raw that made the show somewhat skippable. There was a couple little things that I liked. It was not, though, that great of an episode. I was courteous enough and said decent. I almost gave the show a C. Because, again, and also, I almost didn't even give this show a grade at all. Because, again, I just went into this thinking bad. Like, again, I just basically saw red. And I'm just like, okay, Vince had to touch this. This has to be some of Vince. This has to be Vince. I could settle down for a second and think, okay, one thing had to be Vince. And that Brock Lesnar and Omos segment. The whole, like, all of that match again. I think if it was not for that match, I wouldn't be so paranoid. But, again, I just get worried that poison's been injected into the WWE and it's spreading. As I worry, but I also see stuff like Triple H apparently is rumored to be making Butch Pete Dunne again. And I'm like, okay, that's something I can get into. But of course, then there's other stuff like, Vince McMahon has more control than we thought. Or, there's some stupid dialogue and I don't know, like stuff like that. Or again, as simple as like no intro video at the beginning of Raw was played just made me paranoid. Like I said, I just did not go into this episode of Raw with the best mindset. I didn't. But I can still say, even after settling down, there was not too many noteworthy things that happened on this episode of Raw. It was pretty filler. But again, the Brock Lesnar and Omos stuff, that was bad. That was horrible. But again, I'm going to probably go through Raw decently quick. And I want to spend a little more time talking about what made me feel this way going into this episode of Raw. I will say, though, also, I did try again for the heck of it, for the first time since my SummerSlam 2021 card. I made some brief, simple, nothing too fancy match card predictions for WrestleMania in the end. And so far, I will say the views are decent. I'm getting a couple hundred views. Before, I was lucky to even get like 100 on some of these. I almost have 500 views on that match card. So if that's the case, again, even if it has to be something simple, I may start doing card predictions again for pay-per-views. That is, of course, if Vince doesn't inject his lethal poison into him any more than it feels like it has right now. Who knows? Again, my thing is, I keep saying is, I just want to enjoy wrestling. That's all I want to do. Whether if it's WWE or AEW, just whatever's going to give me content I want to enjoy, I want to watch it. I just want to enjoy wrestling. Yes, part of it's my fault because, again, I just read too much on the internet. I read too many things. I overthink everything. Anybody will tell you that. Anybody who knows the man well knows that he overthinks a lot of things. I try not to, but I do. My fiance would say that. My parents would probably say that. They all still love me, though. But, again, I just want to enjoy wrestling. That's all I want to do. We got our good friend Tyler here in the live chat. He's played WWE 2K23. Very nice. I don't think it's out for the Switch. Like, if it was out for the Switch, I'd consider getting it. I still did pre-order AEW's Fight Forever video game, but apparently that's still being delayed because GCW is going after the whole Fight Forever thing. So I don't know when I'll ever get that. But I'm also, again, watching myself again with the new house, with the wedding coming up. Gotta watch money a little bit here. He didn't like Raw all that much this week either. And he says Asuka better win the Raw Women's title at Mania. I have some concerns about Asuka's character also. We'll talk about that though when we get to it. But yeah, the build to this Asuka and Bianca match. I mean, the match I'm sure will be great. But the build? Yeah. And also, the only thing about Raw he liked was Edge making his match with Finn Balor inside Hell in a Cell. Which we'll talk about that actually to start off the show. So the show opens up as Edge was advertised to be on this show to answer Finn Balor's challenge for WrestleMania. So Edge came out, which we were in Providence. Edge came out, opened up the show, saying he knows why he's here. He calls out Finn Balor. Finn comes down and basically says, we're gonna make your life hell, blah blah blah, this and that. So Edge, of course, does accept the match. After saying some other things, about being the second best guy on the team and whatnot, all this and that, and all this other jazz. Basically, he says, "Okay, fine, I will accept your match," and he basically says, he says you don't know what the hell. Basically, hype up the same mission statement as it was for the last time these two went one-on-one. But then Edge is like, not happening. Shut up and listen. He says he's wasted the last year on his comeback on Judgment Day. The year before, that was in front of TV screens in the Thunderdome. He's running out of time to accomplish what he came back to do, which I'm still hearing rumors. Apparently, this summer, in August, I believe, because Edge said something last year about when they come back to Toronto next summer, he made some comment. He made some comments again about how he wants to finish his career in Toronto. And there's rumors looking like he may be doing it, I think, on an episode of SmackDown in August in Toronto. So yeah, Edge is looking to hang it up. He's feeling like he's completing his career how he wants to. But again, he's running out of time. As he said so. So he says how Finn made the Judgment Day better because he leaned into being what they are. Bitter, immature malcontents and emo delight. But whatever, it works. But every other week, they've left him laying and made him utter two words that would never fall out of his mouth when he said, "I quit," and then still bashed Beth Phoenix's skull with the concerto. They've tried to make his life a living hell, and the way he sees it, there's only one way to end it. Inside hell in a cell, which has been rumored, of course, for months. Finn Balor says he's been to hell before, but hell couldn't handle his demons. Which is a good line there, because it's obviously teasing that Finn Balor is going to be the demon at WrestleMania, which is why in my card predictions, I predicted Finn Balor to be the demon. Which could happen. But until then, Judgment Day comes to the ring trying to beat down, but then Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis come out to make the save, and we get a 6-man tag match with, just a one-on-one tag match. I thought it was a mixed tag, because Candice LeRae came out too. Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis took on Judgment Day. This is it's Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio, kind of following up from Johnny beating Finn Balor last week with the help of Edge. And the match was solid. Judgment Day, though, do win with the South of Heaven, with Damian Priest hitting the South of Heaven on Dexter Lumis. So the match was solid. So again, the match is official. Finn Balor and Edge, Hell in a Cell. And probably going to be with the Demon, which, cool. As I keep saying, my problem with this match, I like this idea of this match, but I'm not as excited about it as I feel I should be. And the reason why, as I've said before, other than the I Quit match, when else have Judgment Day, like post-Edge Judgment Day, when else have they really won any feuds? They lost a tag match at SummerSlam. Despite the fact that Dominic turned on Rey at Clash of the Castle, they still lost that match at Clash of the Castle. I can't remember. Did they beat the OC at Crown Jewel? I can't remember or whatnot. But anyways, other than the Extreme Rules match in this whole feud with Edge, Judgment Day has not won. So again, Edge and Beth winning, I get why they had them win that Chamber. They didn't want to have every single person from Canada lose their matches on the show. But again, had they would have won more matches, I would have been a little more accepting of this match. The reason why I feel like this match, though, is a little unnecessary, though, is because, again, Edge has won, Judgment Day have lost most of their pay-per-view matches. And other than the I Quit match, Edge is still beating them. And Edge and Beth beat them at Elimination Chamber. So to me, it feels like, okay, they've gotten their revenge. This just feels like an extra match for the heck of it. Okay, a heck of it with Finn Balor being the Demon. Kind of like how in 2018, when Crown Jewel happened, and Bryan Danielson didn't, or was that 2017? 2018. When Bryan was supposed to go to the Crown Jewel and face AJ Styles for the world title, and he didn't want to go, so instead, Samoa Joe had yet another match with AJ Styles. Just to fill in. Like, it feels like that this last match is not necessary. Again, because what's going to happen? Finn's going to lose again? Like, it just feels unnecessary. Like, I would rather see Finn win this match. Especially if he's going to be the Demon, Finn should win this match. Other than that, it feels like why are we doing this match again? Edge already got his revenge, in my opinion. So, storyline-wise, it should have ended after the match at Chamber. We could end Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, but we couldn't end Finn Balor and Edge. I mean, again, take that out of the equation. I think the match will still be good. With Finn Balor as the Demon, it will be good. It's just, again, why are we doing this again if basically Edge and Beth already got their revenge at Chamber? So that's why I'm like, cool, but I don't know. So we had that, and then we had this thing where Chad Gable was looking for Otis all night. He went missing, and then he finally found him later. Chad was chilling with the Maximum Male models at a photo shoot, just like Otis was chilling with the Maximum Male models at a photo shoot, just dancing and being goofy like that. I'm like, cool, okay. Like I said, this is a low card, behind the scenes thing. I don't think it's going to have any impact on WrestleMania, but I like this. I do like this. And then Chad Gable tries to get involved, but then Mansoor claims that he broke the camera or whatnot. Like, okay, that was, whatever. That was fine. So then of course, in the first time we saw Chad, looking for Otis, in the background, Damage Control beat down Trish Stratus and smashed her face into a road case. And throughout the night, we've seen Becky Lynch and Lita go into the trainer's room to check on Trish. And then later we see her come out. Trish is like, I'm fine, but they've really pissed me off now. So that's probably... So the other thing I want to mention too, there have been rumors for a while that they wanted to make Trish heel. Apparently that's why they didn't have her make her return in Canada when they were in Montreal for Chamber and for the Go Home show. That's why they didn't have her return on any of those shows, or even afterwards they were in Ottawa, because they plan to eventually turn Trish heel. And the rumors are they want Trish to turn heel so that they can do her and Becky at SummerSlam. I'm not opposed to the match, and I'm not opposed to seeing Trish as a heel. For something different. I mean, yes, it's more of a nostalgia act, even though, of course, I think she was a face for most of her career, I think it is. I can't remember for sure. Again, though, I don't know if the turn will because the story I think they could do here, if they do turn Trish heel, is the fact that Trish is upset with Becky that she took a moment away from her that she would like to have had with her best friend. Something like that. Maybe some jealousy in some ways from that. That Trish... That Alita shared the tag titles with Becky Lynch, but not her best friend. I can see them doing that story, which would I think be okay. Would not be a bad idea to go with it. I just still don't like I said with Finn Balor and Edge, we're doing Damage Control, who has lost a lot. Are we going to either have Becky and the Legends beat Damage Control and it not really do anything because Damage Control feels like jobbers the way it is? Or we're going to have Trish turn on Becky at Mania and have them lose the Damage Control, but in the long run, with how much they've lost already, what good would that do for Damage Control if they've really been if it's not going to benefit them anyways? I don't get it. I just don't know what they're going to do with this match at Mania. I would rather have them do it against a more, solid team. That way, again, it would benefit if the idea is to have Trish turn on Becky at WrestleMania. I would at least have to be against a team that would benefit from it rather than a team that's already so far into the ground that again, at this point, it just doesn't really matter. I don't know. That's just my opinion on that as well. All right. Then we have this face-to-face confrontation with Brock Lesnar and Omos. MVP hypes it up. Again, how big Omos is. Brock comes out, goes face-to-face. Yes, he's obviously a whole foot taller than him. And then basically, Omos just like shows off like his like puts his hand like in Brock's face, like just this shot, which is my thumbnail, like Brock like backing up, and all you see is Omos's watch, and it's like, see how big my fist is, see how big my hand is, and then they shake hands. But then, of course, Omos like wouldn't let go of the grip, and then Brock just stomps on Omos's foot, tries to do a suplex, but of course Omos gets out of it, and then he tries to like push Brock over the top rope, and he absolutely botched it so bad. It was this again. At least I can say this: this has to be Vince. This is all Vince, or Omos is just that bad. And again, with the story we're getting to later on, that we'll talk about after the review, I still, for the life of me, do not get why we're not doing Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley now. Because, spoiler alert, Bray Wyatt apparently may not be at WrestleMania now because of a physical issue. But again, we're gonna lay off on that until we get to that after I review the show. But I'm gonna keep moving here. But yes, this match, Tyler said it best in the live chat. This match is gonna suck. If Omos can botch throwing Brock Lesnar over the top rope like that, this match has no prayers. This better be just like a 5-minute squash fest. It'll be bad, and we can just move on. Because this match has just like injected like the paranoia into me. So again, don't care about the match. We got the recap of Jey Uso finally turning on Sami Zayn. Then we have Cody Rhodes come out, and he has a match with LA Knight, which was solid. Cody wins. Afterwards, he cuts a pretty good promo, very passionate, very emotional. Keeps saying he's hearing warnings from Heyman that he should stay out of the Bloodline business. But you don't work for Heyman, you don't work for the Bloodline. So he can stand with Sami Zayn. He can fight alongside with Kevin Owens if Owens wants to. And then Heyman keeps telling Cody, don't make this personal. But this has been personal since Cody debuted at 21 years old in front of these same cameramen. It's personal when he holds back tears every week. It's personal when you wear a tailored suit as a protective coat of armor, not because he thinks he is somebody, but because he wants to be somebody. Heyman wants to acknowledge Roman Reigns. He acknowledges him, and he wants Roman to acknowledge him. He's been undefeated since he came back, and he grew up thinking he was a prince of this industry. But he's not gotten a crown. No Master Sword. But on April 2nd, when the sun goes down in Hollywood, it goes down on Roman's generational run. And on April 2nd, it's every person who's followed him to the end. He's waited for his whole life, and he will wait no longer. He'll be the first Rhodes to say he is undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Another very passionate promo. Again, we're transitioning this feud a little bit with Cody getting more involved with the Bloodline, which again, I think is helping his momentum in some ways, but I don't think it's going to help the idea of Roman winning clean at Mania. Because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some dissension there. Because again, I think the thing is going to be is, yes, Kevin Owens, well, we'll get to that part at the end, of course, very quickly there. Seth Rollins is being interviewed backstage, talking about his match with Logan Paul. He mentioned something about he landed the shot of a lifetime on his chinny chin chin, which that was another dialogue I made think, okay, Vince had to come up with that. Who knows? But that sounds like a Vince line. He nailed me with my chinny chin chin. Again, nursery rhymes. Remember Lars Sullivan with 3 blind mice? Like that made me feel like that was a Vince line there. But anyways, Miz rolls up, Seth boos his face, says how Logan Paul's going to have a live edition of Impulsive TV next week as a guest. Baron Corbin rolls up. He wants to be on the show, but Miz is like, I'm booked up. And then they start arguing there. And then it sets up for a match later on in the night with Seth Rollins beats Baron Corbin. And I guess, Baron Corbin said something earlier that if you do good, I can maybe put in a good word for you, but I doubt that's going to happen now because Baron Corbin lost as he keeps losing. But, that's all, stuff in the hood. Bronson Reed also squashes Elias while Rick Boogs was just standing in the corner like a weirdo taking notes. I don't know what this is going to do for him that he got squashed, but yeah. So, but Bronson Reed squashes Elias. I mean, yes, Big Bronson looked good, but what the heck was up with the point of him doing that? Let me see here. Kevin Owens being interviewed backstage. He's fighting Solo Sikoa in the main event. He says he asked for help a long time ago, but he didn't get it. And now that Sammy's asking for help, and the history between them, it's not hard to understand why he doesn't want to get involved. And yes, Cody talked to him last week, and he wants to help Sammy. That's his problem. But he doesn't want Cody's help tonight. He wants Cody to focus on WrestleMania, and he wants to take care of business with Solo tonight by himself. So he tells Cody, don't come out. We get a recap of John Cena's return last week, and then we have Austin Theory being confronted by the Street Profits, and then basically just some crap that's set up for a match with Austin Theory beating Angelo Dawkins, and of course he does the STF, and then he mocks the "You Can't See Me," and that's that. All we got from that. Paul Heyman had an interview backstage saying how the Bloodline has a problem, which is Kevin Owens, and tonight they'll solve that problem when Solo Sikoa solves him. Cody though has a problem too. He's a mistake in the fact that the truth will set him free, and the fact that the truth will imprison his mind into making stupid mistakes, like making this personal to Roman Reigns. And of course, Cody, this is personal. Is what makes him a compelling challenger for the main event of WrestleMania. But to make this personal to Roman by mocking him and acknowledging him as a tribal chief on television, what a schmuck. You want to acknowledge Roman Reigns? We'll do it on Raw next because Roman will be here and Cody will make the biggest decision of his life, whether he's a challenger or a problem. But he assures him he's a problem that Reigns would love to personally solve next week. We get a video package of Rey Mysterio announcing him as the first inductee to the Hall of Fame. They were informed that Ric Flair is going to announce the next inductee on the bump, which was the Great Muta, who was announced today. A lot of people thought it was going to be Batista, but he announced the Great Muta. We'll see, though, of course, if Batista gets in or not this year. Ray comes out, thanks the crowd and everything, says he feels good to be back on Raw. So he basically acknowledges all this and that. He wants to thank everybody. Dominic Mysterio comes out, congratulates his father on making a Hall of Fame. And unlike how he thought on Friday, all of a sudden he's saying, you know what? You deserve it. You put your entire life into the business, but it costed you a bunch of things. You chose strangers over your own kids. How does it feel to, you're getting this honor knowing, all these things that he experienced without a father? 8th grade promotion, when he turned 16, and he get to buy a car, but instead of getting a brand new Mercedes, he gave him a cheap BMW. And not to mention an M series, he calls Ray a sad excuse for a father, for a man that tells him he's going to make his life in LA a little bit better because he wants a match at WrestleMania. And Ray goes, I will not fight my own son. Whether he believes it or not, I still love you and I always will. And there'll be no match at Mania. And then Dom taunts him more as he walks out. I'm pretty sure, again, this is another positive I'll say, I'm pretty sure this is going to lead eventually to having it go as far as Ray will keep saying no until Dom crashes his Hall of Fame speech. Dom is going to crash Ray's Hall of Fame speech. And it probably will be until that night when Ray finally says, fine, I will fight you at Mania. And they will indeed fight at Mania. And who knows? Could be Ray's last match, who knows? I mean, it may not be. Because I don't remember what the whole rules are about the Hall of Fame. But whether you should be retired or not, I don't know. But this could be Ray's last match. You never know. But I'm pretty sure also, him going to the Hall of Fame is very fitting for the story as well. I mean, how personal it can get. So, okay. Dom laid out the challenge. Ray said no, but I'm sure he's going to push him overboard to make him do that. So when we get Corbin and Rollins, we had Gable and looking for Otis still, all that jazz. Bianca Belair had a match with Chelsea Green and she won. Afterwards, Chelsea tries to attack, but then I think Carmella was down there to a ringside, but then Asuka came down. And my concern about Asuka is why is the past 2 weeks she hasn't worn face paint? That's another concern I got. Why is Asuka not wearing her face paint? But she came down to help, and then she grabbed Bianca's title and started like dancing with it. And I'm like, that's her old gimmick. Why is she doing that? And then the mist starts coming out of her mouth again, like she's crazy and whatnot. It's more so been a feud like, okay, Asuka won the Chamber. The match is happening at Mania. See you then. Like, the stuff they've done on television has really not been pointless. Not had any point to it at all. So we had that. And then we had the main event, Kevin Owens and Solo Sikoa in a street fight. Match was fine. Of course, it led to them brawling into the into Gorilla. And then as Kevin Owens walks into Gorilla, the Usos double super kicked him and dragged onto the ring, beat him up, and Solo wins the match. And that's how we went off the air. Cody Rhodes obeyed orders. He didn't help Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn didn't show up. So it's probably that moment where it's like Kevin Owens didn't want help. Look what happened to him. So could be a turning point. So I get that. Like, there was a lot of stuff on Raw that was like, was it mind blown? But it's like, I get it. But not much really to say. Again, like, not too many positives. Like I said, like, there's some stuff that was like, okay, like, like Edge and Finn Balor. Yes, that'll be a good match. But again, with how many times Judgment Day have lost on pay-per-view in this feud, other than the I Quit match and losing in the match where both Edge and Beth kind of got their revenge, again, it feels pointless. It just feels a little pointless and whatnot. So, before we go off the air, though, let's just talk briefly about the big thing. Again, why was the man going into this show with not the best mindset? And the reason why, again, is the stuff that was floating around the internet on Monday about Bray Wyatt. So, Bray Wyatt has not been on television for a few weeks now. I think the last time we saw him was, we saw Uncle Howdy, but the last time we saw him at all was that little vignette he had with the Muscle Man dance thing with Bobby. And there's been a lot of stuff going on with this. Apparently, originally they wanted to do Brock Lesnar and Bray Wyatt. Brock Lesnar turned that down, saying he didn't want to be involved with the supernatural stuff. So instead, they did Brock Lesnar and Omos, which I'm still pretty sure is that's a Vince McMahon idea. And then we're going to do Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. And I said Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley, which is, again, kind of a lose-lose feud because, okay, if the idea is eventually to come back to to Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, which they need to for crying out loud, because again, how do you end a feud with Brock Lesnar doing a scoop kick to your groin? And then it's just this idea of like, okay, Bobby Lashley had him beat. No! Bobby Lashley has to, for real, beat Brock Lesnar. Clean. And the perfect time to do that was at WrestleMania 39. So, of course, as we get more of the story, with now the rumors of Bray Wyatt may not be there at Mania, why are we just going back to that match? Why? You want to leave Bobby Lashley off the card? Why are we not just going back to that match? So, anyways, though, let's talk about the booking of Bray Wyatt. Yes, it's been weird since he's come back. I mean, yes, the booking for his return, outstanding. The White Rabbit stuff, the reveal at Extreme Rules when he returned, like the pop he got was unreal. That promo he cut, that following SmackDown, so emotional and everything, so much truth to it. It was perfect. And then, of course, they introduced Uncle Howdy and the whole thing. Again, like, we've been trying to figure out what on earth is Bray Wyatt's character. Is he having a split personality? Is the Wyatt 6 his 6 different personalities? Or is it a stable of 6 people? Then, of course, we reveal Uncle Howdy. We find out Uncle Howdy is not Bray Wyatt. We then, of course, have Alexa Bliss go back to the dark side. And we've had those pieces there, but okay, like, what's next? What's next? We've been asking this for ages. What's next? Like, I even said, remember a couple months ago on one of my reviews, I was positive this payoff was going to be worth it. Now I'm worried I may have bit myself in the ass on that. Because again, I'm just wondering, like, what is this? And again, is this all happening because Vince is lurking back around and we know Vince never liked Bray Wyatt to begin with? So Bray's been, again, first we have Alexa Bliss, who had the character change. She had a very forgettable match at Rumble, but it ended with Uncle Howdy basically saying, "You're in charge. You thought you were in charge." That made me think of whenever Bayley hit rock bottom, like when she lost the title and then cemented her full-on heel turn to Falling SmackDown. Like, I thought, okay, maybe next time we see Alexa Bliss, she goes full-on psycho. That's her fully embracing whatever's going on here. No, we haven't seen Alexa Bliss since. There's been rumors of she wanted to take some time off, which I'm like, Alexa Bliss has taken a lot of time off lately anymore. It feels like as soon as she comes back, she's gone again for a brief period of time. But then we have a tweet basically saying she's not on a hiatus. She goes, "You can just find me wherever." So I'm like, okay, that's odd. And again, we've had how many segments where Bray Wyatt just cuts a promo, Uncle Howdy shows up on the stage and just starts laughing. Or Uncle Howdy's attacking Bray Wyatt because I keep thinking it's Bray Wyatt, trying to be consumed by these demons, and instead he's just trying to ignore them. But now all of a sudden, since the finish to the Pitch Black match, it's like, okay, did Bray Wyatt fully consume Uncle Howdy? Because we saw those other characters at the top of the beam where Uncle Howdy jumped off at. It's like, okay, is this the Wyatt Six forming? And then I'm hearing rumors that they want to do the Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt feud also was to not only establish the Wyatt Six, but also that's where they fully reunite the Hurt Business. Maybe, but I still think it would have been a bad idea to have the two of them start, because they're two people who were kind of in positions where it's like, okay, neither of them can really lose. We're trying to establish both of these stables, so neither of them can really lose. So then, once again, like I said, that's when there's the rumors about Bray. They're starting to set up Bobby Lashley, Bray Wyatt, and Brock Lesnar and Omos. And the last time we saw Uncle Howdy, Bobby Lashley speared his ass and he just disappeared. So, based off what we're seeing now, that's supposed to be a cut and a way to write off Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy finally got taken down? What was that? And now, then I hear that Bray Wyatt, over the weekend, was supposed to main event a Madison Square Garden house show against LA Knight. He was pulled from that and replaced by Braun Strowman. So now I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? First I hear that, I hear a rumor about he was pulled from television because of creative issues, which concerns me. Then I hear he was pulled due to a physical issue. And one of those weird phrases, physical issue. That sounds like a Vince McMahon cover-up. That sounds like something from Vince McMahon's mouth. He's been off TV for a couple weeks. Now all of a sudden you're saying it's a physical issue after rumors about him being pulled from television because of creative. And I also heard a rumor that he walked out. So nobody is coming clean about this. I mean, okay, the Sean Ross Sapp, who a lot of people said is a very reliable source, he was the one who had said the idea, who had reported that it's a physical issue. And then, of course, I'm hearing also an illness. So, based off of this back and forth, it's not clear at all what's going on with Bray Wyatt. They're saying physical issue, but, now I'm hearing an illness he's been dealing with for a while. Part of me also is wondering, I was worried that I'm hoping it's not like, like a mental health thing. Because I did hear between WrestleMania 37 and when he got released, he was, he was dealing, it was pretty hard for him at the time because of, he was, very, the death of Brody Lee got to him. Because, of course, he was his longtime friend, his longtime Wyatt Patreon. I hope it's nothing to do with that. But my point here is, nothing's clear as to what's going on with Bray Wyatt. And a lot of these things is just making me worried that Vince McMahon has a lot more control. Because once again, that's one of the biggest names Vince McMahon was always opposed to. And I'm just worried that it has something to do with Vince. Because remember when Samoa Joe got brought back, went to NXT, won the NXT title. As soon as Vince McMahon takes over, he gets relinquished of the title to a undisclosed injury, but they wouldn't say what that injury was. Now no one's saying what the heck this injury or illness is to Bray Wyatt. And yes, okay, some people want to keep some things private. I get that. But also, it's bad timing because this whole stuff about Vince lurking back around is spreading like wildfire. And the internet's exploding at including myself, of course, every little rumor about Vince McMahon getting more control creative, the internet's exploding, and it's making fans like me paranoid. Again, this whole Bray Wyatt situation is why I went into Raw this week with not a positive mindset about this show. And again, it was not the greatest show in the world. No, there was a little more positives out than I thought. After looking back at the results again, thinking, okay, this kind of worked. Yes, I get this. Yes, I get this. But again, I couldn't do this show without worrying. I couldn't. And now, whereas with Bray Wyatt rumored missing WrestleMania, like, is this it for him? Like, did he for real walk out? Is he for real hurt? People are like, well, he's only taken like 2 bumps since he's come back. Could be a non-wrestling related injury that happened. But again, I don't know what to believe anymore. Again, I'm worried also. I'm worried that Vince has a lot more control than we think. And his new idea is, I'm going to hide behind Triple H. Basically making it seem like that Triple H is still in charge. When in reality, Vince still is. Having all these people, say, oh, he's not in charge. He has no thing on creative. Again, it feels like it still feels like he has more of his hands on it than it seems. So I'm sorry, but I am paranoid. And again, that's the reason why I was so worried. Again, I did tweet out the other night, though. All I just want to know, all I care about the most, though, in this whole thing, is I just hope Bray Wyatt's okay. Like I said, I know he had it was hard whenever he lost, whenever Brody Lee passed away, and all this other jazz. So, all in all, I just hope the guy's okay. If something happens that this isn't working out, I just hope, again, I just hope that, wherever he goes next, I hope it works out for him. I just want the best for Bray Wyatt. And I just want the best, as always, for the wrestling product. And guys, that's going to do it. Again, I know I wasn't as bad as a rant as I wanted. Like I said, I'm a little cooler than I was Monday night, but I'm just concerned. I'm just concerned. Again, I did read a rumor today, though, that Triple H apparently does want to make Butch Pete Dunne again. He was going to when he first took over, but apparently with how over the Brawling Brutes were at the time, which they still are pretty over, he kept the course and put those plans on the back burner for now. So, if there's hope for that, then that makes me feel a little bit better. But then again, I could wake up tomorrow morning and hear something totally different. Like I said before, guys, all I want to do is just enjoy wrestling. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. So, Again, I was generous, gave this show a C+. I wanted to give it a C, but again, a couple little things that I'm like, okay, I get it. Again, I'm not 100% excited for Finn Balor and Edge, but I get it. So that was solid. It wasn't amazing, but I got what they did with Kevin Owens. They were trying to establish he did things on his own, and look what happens. Now he has a reason to want to, maybe think about more taking these helping hands or whatnot. I get that. A couple other little things. Again, the maximum model stuff, I get it. Like, there's some stuff I can say, I get it, but there's also stuff I'm just like, and stuff like Brock Lesnar, I'm like, whew. So, I gotta get going, guys. I got some stuff I gotta do tonight, but let me check the live chat, because Tyler did leave some stuff in the live chat. As usual, Fire Horse Face and split the world and tag titles. Brock and Omos gonna suck. Why can't we do Brock and Bobby in a no-holds-barred match at Mania? Exactly. Again, if Bray Wyatt is not going to be able to be at WrestleMania, why can't we just do Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley? Again, when they have unfinished business, why can't we just do that match? And Brock should retire. There's nothing left for him to do. A couple of things maybe, but, he could be done soon, I agree. And Vince needs to stay away from WWE. Amen. That's all we have to do, is get rid of the problem, Vince McMahon. But somehow, some way, that man continues to inject the poison and find a way around everything. Also, don't get me started about the John Cena comment. I don't want to talk about that right now, but I do have stuff to do, guys, so I do have to get going. So, guys, that is my review of Raw. Gave it a C+. At some point tomorrow, I'll probably review AEW. Again, it's I have stuff I'm doing around the house, but it's a pretty calmer week. And again, also, my WrestleMania 39 card predictions. Not too bad on views, I would say. It has almost 500 views. Let me double check again. So if that's the case, then maybe I will start doing some match cards again. Maybe some simpler graphics, and if I have maybe more creative ones if I get time. But maybe I'll try bringing those back again. Again, the goal this year, 2,000 subscribers. I'm 178 away. Before this video, I had 1,822. I would like to get to 2,000 this year. So again, the creative bug is in me, and we'll keep rolling with it. So guys, again, C+ for Raw. What are your thoughts on this episode of Raw? Are you at all... Did the Bray Wyatt situation paranoid make you guys worried as well? Leave your guys' thoughts about all this down in the comments section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video. Subscribe, mark content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at the Club of Demand 93, and also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of Demand 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch y'all later. And I can't talk. And as always, remember, guys, in order to be superior to be the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself.